like how you put that. I mean, so as you're talking through this, the subject in the world, how do you conceptualize pedagogical responsibility and also the authority in education, and also related to how you're talking about that it's related to freedom and emancipation.
Yeah.
So,
Um, so there is a pedagogical responsibility, and in one sense, it's very abstract, and that raises a very big question: where does it come from? But also, why do educators even think that they can occupy that place and say, yes, I have this responsibility? But in an abstract sense, it is a concern for the subjectness of the new generation, the possibility for the newborn child or the new student arriving in the classroom to exist as subject of their own life. That is what gives orientation to the pedagogical responsibility. But then the risk returns, because the way I analyze it is by saying everything we do as educators always comes unwanted. There is never a child who is born and says, I want you to be my parent. So we find ourselves in a very odd situation where we feel that we need to do something, but the child is not able to ask us to do it. And there you are immediately in a power relationship. That is something that I think is really important just to acknowledge for anyone who works in education, that everything we do is in the first instance always an act of power. Now, of course, it comes with a lot of good intentions, but that doesn't take the power away. And therefore you can say, and that's how I also put it, that as educators, we always risk ourselves in everything we do that comes with an educational intention. Yeah, we put ourselves at stake because we interfere. We say to a student, oh, I think it might be good for you if you read this book, or if you follow this curriculum, or if you take a bit of responsibility for what's happening in this setting. Whether that power ever becomes authority, and with authority, I use that word to say authority is acknowledged power, or it's authority is a relational concept, and power is a unidirectional concept. What students can do, what children can do, is that at some point they can turn back and say to the parents or the teachers, that was bloody irritating what you did, but now I see that actually it worked out well, or it was not too bad for me, or actually I deserved it. But when we were in the middle of that, it was horrible. But you can say at the point where the student turns back and say, I can now see that what you did there actually brought me closer to something, then suddenly power transforms, or it's a process of metamorphosis. It becomes authority. The trouble is that a lot of students leave school before they ever come to that point, or students realize it internally, but they won't tell you. So all that is also what, as an educator, you have to carry with you, that you do not know what you do there, or what sort of the outcome may be. You can then say educators are the problem, let's get rid of them because they are constantly exercising power. But I think that educators understand that this is a kind of, necessary evil already sounds a bit too easy. But you can say this is our job, that we are in this predicament, and there's no other way to do it. So that for me speaks to this whole question of pedagogical responsibility and authority and power.